Hello, this is Ralph Brandt from the Fireside. I'm getting ready to publish a new book. It's called Fire Down Below. The bylines in the beginning of it say, "One thing is certain, government officials will make bad decisions." I'm going to read you a chapter or two of it and hope you'll decide to go to Amazon and read the book. This is right now May the 9th. It should be up there by May the 30th. Background. I was intrigued with the story of Centralia, Pennsylvania, and in 2008 took a trip and passed through it. Stopped, took some pictures, walked down the old road that is buckled from the heat and is no longer used. Homes were gone, but streets, sidewalks, even walks and front porch steps remained. Since I started this novel, I learned that this is not the only coal seam or mine fire in central Pennsylvania or even the U.S. There are many, and many are still burning today. The beginning. Jeff Barnes was a STEM teacher at Woodland High. He started there a week after graduating from Shippensburg University of Pennsylvania in August of 1982. Many of his peers were starting their senior year, some in the middle of their junior. He had taken semesters of 18 or 19 credits, full 12 credit hour summers, and graduated 9 months before all but a few of those who started with him in 1979. They would be looking for jobs next June with the bulk of June graduates. He was looking for a position this July. This had a positive. Not as many looking for jobs except those who had not found one since June graduation. Usually not the top picks. And negative, not a lot of job openings. Most schools had filled their openings. Not sure of his being able to graduate. He had not done a lot of looking until a couple weeks before his graduation. Until the last classes were actually scheduled, he could not be sure. In early August, he found 9 schools that had lost a teacher over the summer to choose from, mostly teachers who had found other jobs after the end of school or ones who decided to retire late in the summer. His degree had an impressive repertoire of subjects: math, physics, chemistry as majors, biology, astronomy, geology, and earth science as minors. He breezed through the state teacher qualification exam 6 months before graduation. If it was a science class, he could teach it. One of those schools was Woodland, a rural school in the coal regions of Pennsylvania. Woodland looked at him and realized this guy was very valuable to a medium-sized rural school. If they lost a teacher in any of these fields, he could teach them. They had many options. He was asked if he would be willing to teach any of the subjects and responded he preferred math, physics, and chem, but he felt comfortable to teach any of the others. He joked that a class in one of the others would be nice now and then for a diversion. The board members took that as very positive. They had to twist some arms at times to get classes staffed because a qualified teacher did not want to teach a class. His nemesis in science classes, Wendy Barnes, graduated at the same time with only a slightly less impressive list. She lacked a strong set in physics and math, but also had biology, chemistry, and earth science as majors, subject in which he had only a minor. During their time in college, in all science subjects other than those two, she was the one to compete with if the prof marked on the curve. They did not have any summer classes together this year and had only seen each other in passing since June. The summer was very busy, and they smiled and waved but didn't have time to talk. They were next to each other in the line at graduation, but did not get a chance to say much more than, "Hi, I see you made it." He did ask if she had a job. She responded, "Yes, a great position. More like what I want than I even imagined would happen." "You?" He responded, "Yes, exactly what I wanted." Before they could talk more, the marshal started giving instructions and the ceremony started. Somehow, with relatives there, they did not see each other after the ceremony. It was competition in class, but it was a friendly competition. They often compared notes after a test. He admitted she pushed him to be better. They studied together at times. He joked one time that it was like consorting with the enemy. They both had to admit they never aced out the other. They were always close enough to get the same grade, always an A. He picked the Woodland position because it was in the mountains of central Pennsylvania, a school big enough to have a good cadre of performers, families that had rural work ethic, and respect that made teaching more fun. He grew up in southern Cumberland County, about 25 miles from Shippensburg, and loved the mountains, the state parks, and the woods just a few miles from his home. Most of the other jobs were in cities, and Woodland was offering a salary of $500 a year less than the top that was in Midtown Philadelphia. He joked that they would have had to offer $10,000 more for him to even think about living in the city or commuting from outside. He also commented that the cost of living there would be far more than $500 more than Woodland. For him, the economics was good, and the teaching environment made it a no-brainer. Wendy was in the same bidding frenzy for teachers that happened in July and was just as desirable to a district. In addition to her versatility, they wanted her because they saw her as an asset to getting girls to participate in STEM programs. They felt many of their female students did not enter STEM programs for a lack of a mentor or role model. They saw her as the fix for that. She grew up in Chambersburg, a small town in Franklin County, 11 miles west of Shippensburg. She had spent weekends in the mountains, Michaud State Forest, Caledonia State Park, Pine Grove Furnace State Park, and a couple of others. It was interesting that they had lived on opposite ends of the Pine Grove Road, the one that went through many of the parks and woodlands they both loved, and were so focused on their study, neither had discussed the interest. They arrived at Woodland the Thursday before classes started the following Monday. There was an orientation. He was there about 5 minutes early and was seated near the front with his back to the door. She came in 3 minutes later and took a seat in the back. The principal started by having them introduce themselves. He joked, "I always start at the back of the room. Give your name, the college you're from, and when you graduated, and what field you teach." He pointed to Wendy. "You first." She responded, "Wendy Baker, Shippensburg University, class of 1983, graduated last week." By now, Jeff's head was turned to the back. She saw him and without thinking, "Jeff, what are you doing here?" Everyone laughed. The principal responded, "Well, Jeff, you might as well go next since we know your name. Should I assume you both know each other?" He responded, "Yes, Jeff Barnes, Shippensburg University, class of 1983, graduated last week." The principal looked. "Can I also assume neither of you had any idea the other would be here? Are you sure you both went to Ship? I know we verified that." Jeff responded, "We had lots of classes together until May. I only saw her a couple times in passing over the summer, and we were in line together at graduation, but did not have time to discuss anything." She added, "We had tons of classes together till May. We were the sort of competitive in sciences." He laughed. "She made me work. In most classes, she was the only competition." His statement hit the administrator. They thought they had hired 2 stars. If this was true, it was very likely superstars. Jeff's statement added some value. She replied, "Yes, in one class we nearly killed each other for the top, and the prof handed out 8 A's to 15 students. We could have both taken it easy and gotten an A. He beat me with a couple of points by 1,000. We both got A's. Damn it, but the guy who had 50% of that got an A. Yes, Roddick. I nearly ran over him on his motorcycle a year before when he went past me on the right at a light. There were days I regretted hitting the brakes." There was laughter. The principal asked, "Roddick, the coach?" "Yes, him. We took astronomy with him. He knew football stars better than the ones in the universe. A football player in the class with the lowest score needed a C. About 80% of the faculty were with them, had seen similar things. The other 20 had benefited from such action and suddenly were faced with the injustice in it. The two, by their candidness, had made friends of most of the faculty, and some were in awe of them. The two teachers they were replacing were essentially on pre-retirement leave for about 2 years. Miss Hackman, an English teacher, later told Miss Briner, who taught history, "They are either going to be an asset or the biggest pain in the neck we have had." Miss Briner responded, "If it's pain, it will be about a foot lower. Science teachers scare me. They have since high school." Miss Hackman replied, "Math teachers are worse. They are both." This ends the reading of the story Fire Down Below. If you wish to read the whole book, check on Amazon Kindle, Ralph Brandt, for it. It should be there by the end of May.